everything here is accessible, but the most important thing I would tell to people is whatever direction you go in, whether it's with my work or anybody else's work, make sure that you're having fun.
Welcome to the Secrets of Being podcast. I'm Dr. Dawn Earhart Whitty, your guide on a transformative journey of personal development and discussions of universal truths. Join me and a panel of life coaches and spiritual leaders from around the world discussing how to handle some of life's greatest challenges. We will be sharing stories of love, faith, and inspiration with you, our faithful listeners, to live your happiest and most fulfilling life, full of purpose and passion for yourself, your families, and the world. We are here to be the change we wish to see. Let the conversation begin. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Secrets of Being podcast. I'm Dawn Earhart Whitty, and today I am pleased to have Andrew Kap with me. He has written a few books. I have a few of them. One of them my dog did eat, and I just, full disclosure. But we want to talk about attraction, law of attraction, and manifesting things, because you hear that term a lot, and Andrew is an expert on this. So the last law of attraction book you'll ever need to read, I have it here. He's got it there. My dog ate Just Feel Good. So apparently he really liked to feel good. And Andrew's also launching a new academy. So we were to talk about manifesting and get into the conversation, but welcome, Andrew.
Yeah, Dawn, thank you so much for having me. And next time I'll bring some condiments for your dog if he's going to eat another copy of Just Feel Good.
Thank you. I actually no longer have that one, but I've got two puppies that eat everything else. So
Nice.
I'm putting my books away so they cannot eat any more books. But
It makes sense, by the way, that Just Feel Good would be eaten because by design, I made that a thinner book. That was meant to be like a giftable book. So like someone graduates or their birthday or something, and maybe they're not the biggest reader in the world. Whereas the last Law of Attraction book you'll ever need to read is over 200 pages. Just Feel Good is under 100. So it makes sense. It's this thinner morsel for your dog or anyone to kind of sink their teeth into. It was made that way by design.
Oh, well, it was wonderful what I was reading. But I like to start my podcast always with a quote. And I thought I would take a quote from your book, and then we can get into manifesting, because what does that mean? How does that work? What does that look like? So what you wrote, and this is at the very beginning, you said, thoughts become reality, like attracts like. The thoughts that you think and the emotions that you feel about those thoughts energetically magnetize and attract people, things, and circumstances and outcomes that you experience. And first of all, how did you get into the law of attraction, and how did you get from where you started to where you are right now, writing about it and
Yeah,
talking about
well,
it?
it's interesting. At this point, it's been over 20 years. And when I discovered the law of attraction, it was one modality of many that I was researching or discovering, being a young entrepreneur at the time, looking for the quote unquote secret to happiness and success. So law of attraction was just one thing of all these other ideas and all these other theories or methods, or whatever you want to call it. And to be really candid, it was hit and miss. I won some, I lost some. And another way of saying that, it was unreliable. And I'd find out a couple of years later that it turns out I was the part of the equation that was being unreliable because I hit a really rough wall, like 4 years or so working into this thing, where I lost my girlfriend and my company all within like 3 days of one another. The relationship was on the rocks because I was trying so hard to keep the company afloat. I ended the company to save the relationship, but it was too little, too late. So I had to look in the mirror and say, okay, Andrew, you've wasted your 20s. Obviously something's not working here. You need to take a close look at yourself and figure things out. And I had this weird simultaneous epiphany and moment of indignation where looking back on those few years where I was bouncing all over the place, whenever I did that whole, that law of attraction thing and I started doing manifesting methods, things would start to change until I stopped doing them, until I found an excuse or a reason to get off the path. So I told myself, I don't care what happens. I don't care when it happens, why it happens, how it happens. I will not only not be deterred by failure, I will also not be deterred by success, meaning I won't use anything as an excuse. This time I'm going all in once and for all. And when I say all in, I don't mean all day, every day, because I understand human nature well enough and my own BS well enough to know that's unsustainable. but I can do what I had been doing, which is 5 or 10 minutes a day of feeling good while thinking about what I have or what I want or both through simple manifesting methods. And I'll tell you, Dawn, it was almost like a movie. Like once I made that decision, the shifts that I experienced like, within 2 weeks, I didn't feel 100% better, but I felt way better than anyone with a broken heart had any business feeling. Within 3 months, I'm in a brand new, way healthier relationship with someone way more aligned with me at that point. Within 4 months, I'm making more money than at any point in my life before then. And within 6 months, everything was different. I'm waking up happy and fulfilled. I'm waking up in the best shape of my life. And I figured out the hard way that whatever this thing is, and we'll call it the law of attraction because that's what everyone calls it works when you work it. And it actually took me 11 years to give myself permission to actually write about it and publish a book about it. And in that whole time, I kept experimenting, I kept learning, I kept doing different things. But from that point forward, like one thing that could never be taken away from me was the experiential piece of it. That I actually did it, I actually got the result. So no one, including myself, could talk me out of it at any point moving forward from there.
So that's an amazing story. I mean, I'm so sorry that all that happened, but you had to go through that to get to where you are, right? It propelled you to where you are.
Yeah, apparently I had to go through it. And people don't necessarily have to hit rock bottom, but people often do because it's only we often hit that point where when there's nothing else but to move forward, when there's nothing else but to try something or commit to the thing that you've been dragging your feet on, oftentimes we have to hit that point where there is no other move apparently, which it's fine. I wouldn't wish that on anybody, but if that's the way it had to be, then I'm at peace with it, and here we are.
So tell us, define the law of attraction. I've done a lot of personal development work, so you hear it. But for somebody who's new to this or never heard of it, tell us what the law of attraction means.
Yeah, so my definition, it isn't like specifically defining law of attraction. It's basically defining the nature of the universe. And the way I've learned it, the way I've discovered it is everything is energy. Your energy, I'm energy, our thoughts are energy. The frequencies that are in concert for us to have this conversation across devices in separate places in the world is energy. And the way it works is like energy will tend to resonate um, with other like energy, which is another way of just saying, if whatever you're thinking about, that being energy, you are energetically attracting the circumstances that will reflect those thoughts, which means understanding this about the universe, having this insight, you can use it to your strategic advantage. If what you focus on brings into your life a specific result based on that focus, why not intentionally find ways of experiencing positive emotions and positive thoughts in order to invite positive results rather than letting yourself be lulled into the negative by the outside circumstances that are always, for some reason, seem to be introducing other negative patterns and getting you down that line of thought.
Yeah, I saw something the other day and it said worrying is like praying for things that you don't want to happen in your life.
Mm,
So you're focusing on your problems, then what are you going to have? You're going to have more problems and the problems will become bigger. But when you start focusing on the solutions or what you would like to have in your life, then you start seeing opportunities, you meet people, doors start opening. Is that kind of how you?
yeah. And I'll say this, Dawn, like I get the focusing on your problems bit. The only argument I'm making is it's only worth focusing on your problems if you can actually get a constructive result out of it. Since I don't see many people getting a constructive result out of the focus on their problems, why not focus on the solutions and see where that takes you? If nothing else as an experiment, if nothing else as an understanding of anyone looking at their life saying, well, focusing on my problems obviously hasn't worked yet, maybe it would be a practical, strategic thing for me to try the other thing that Andrew's talking about.
Yeah, so give people a few hints, summarize a little bit. Like, what did you start doing when you were in that place where you lost your business, you lost your relationship? How first of all, how did you get the courage or the motivation to not sit in a pity party for yourself?
Yeah, well, I mean, I had a brief pity party for a few days, and that's okay too. I think for me, I was fortunate in that I was just fed up. I think a real difference, it doesn't have to be this way. Like I said before, people don't have to hit rock bottom necessarily, but the thing that facilitates a change is when we are so fed up with whatever we're experiencing, we can't help but move in a different direction. So for me, it wasn't, I mean, I wish I can say I was really courageous. I was just fed up. I was just impatient. And I mean, hopefully I come across as a pretty easygoing guy, but there is a certain intensity, and there certainly was a certain intensity back then where I was just so indignant about the situation because I was so almost angry at myself because I'd seen it's almost like, working out. Like you start working out and you see results and then you stop and then all of a sudden your body feels weak and your muscles atrophy and you think to yourself, I was working out. My body was feeling fantastic. Why did I stop? Like I have the awareness that working out feels good for my body. Well, with this, like I had the awareness that just a few minutes a day, I don't even have to do a half hour a day. I only have to do 20 minutes a day, just 5 minutes a day of feeling good was yielding results. Andrew, I'm sorry, you no longer have permission to not do this anymore. That was my attitude. I was just so fed up that, and I would encourage people like whatever it takes, whether it means having courage, whether it means being fed up, whether it means having impatience, whether it means having faith in yourself, whatever tool that you can use based on your self-awareness and your understanding of your own personal human nature, I say use it, utilize it, whatever it takes to be consistent. But here's the extra element. Unlike working out, which involves pain, even though working out is so good for our bodies, everyone goes in, even if they like it, knowing that they're going to experience pain. They're going to experience pain while they're working out. They're going to experience pain after they work out when their muscles are sore. What I want to do strategically, knowing that this is something that consistency will yield a momentum, which will yield a result, I wanted to find a way to make it consistent and make it easily consistent. And the way to do that was to actually make it so enjoyable that I would actually look forward to it. I tinkered with these manifesting methods I learned about, or I came up, with manifesting methods on my own, so that they were fun, they were easy, they were convenient, they fit into even my crazy schedule. And I'm sure everyone here can relate to having a crazy schedule. Like everyone's got 3 to 5 minutes. Notice I even just downgraded to 3 minutes. I was saying 5 minutes 5 minutes ago. I'll say, you know what, even 3 minutes. I tinkered with this to the point where I actually looked forward to it the way you would look forward to a scoop of ice cream if it didn't mess up, a diet that you were on or something like that. It's like, it's not even a quart of ice cream that you have to eat. It's just a spoonful. And assuming you like ice cream, if it's not, well, it's a bite of pizza. It's not the whole pie. It's a spoonful of this, like just these micro little morsels of enjoyment. If you can set up a situation and lean into methods that do that for you, everything else takes care of itself because you are going to take action, but this is going to start you on that road towards discovering ideas of the right action to take. This will make that action feel better. This will basically unfold the path for you so that you can actually move in the direction of whatever it is in your life you want, whether it's a physical thing or a financial thing or a surface level thing or an intangible, more even spiritual thing.
So when we say 3 to 5 minutes, what did you put it in your calendar, like at 8 o'clock every, like how did you make that happen so you did it? And then how did you make yourself look forward to it?
Yeah, so going backward, well, I made myself look forward to it by just making sure it was fun. Like, and my rationale was like, again, we tend to focus on our problems. You know what, Andrew? If you really want to be mad at yourself over the way you screwed up your 20s, or you want to be mad at yourself the way you screwed up your business, your relationship, fine. But how about we take a break from that from 5 minutes? So it's basically just a win of like, I can breathe. I can get away from my problems for 5 minutes. It's kind of like, assuming everyone had time for like a massage, it's like who wouldn't want a massage if they had time? Who wouldn't want to just be, relaxed and be put to ease? So I made it fun in that way, but the really cool thing about it was I was going to be as structured as I needed to be. My own personality is like I like flexibility. So rather than even saying that I had to do it in the morning or I had to do it in the evening or I had to do it like at a certain point, only if I felt like I couldn't accomplish it every day would I schedule something. But for the most part, because I was enjoying this and because I was angry enough at myself that I was not going to quit, it was a natural inclination thing where it didn't even have to be scheduled, where usually within the first 2 to 3 hours of waking up, I'm like, okay, it's time, do this. So I answered that way, Dawn, because everyone's going to be different. Just because I was flexible with myself doesn't mean someone else might not benefit from saying, well, I can do this easier in the morning, or, well, I can actually do this at night when I'm not worrying about getting to work or more worried about my commute. So the real answer is like for me, just the way I would advise for anyone else, based on your personality, based on where would be most comfortable for you and where would be the highest likelihood that you could take those few minutes out a day to just focus. And again, a simple method like setting your alarm for 5 minutes and just sitting around thinking of things to be grateful for. Like there's nothing that's another thing I did, by the way. These methods are not complicated. They're not over the top. They're almost too simple to the point where you do them and you think to yourself, this is too easy. There's no way that this could actually yield results. No way. Like it should actually be, it should be so simple that you feel like it's silly to be even engaging in the process, but so easy and enjoyable that you don't mind that you're investing those few minutes a day in order to do it.
So you said you have multiple tools that you use and you've created some of your own, and
Mhm.
gratitude is always a good place to start, right? But what,
Mhm.
aside from listing off or thinking about the things that you have in your life to be grateful for, what are some other things that you, as at the beginning, started with, like the easy things that maybe anybody who's never even tried any of this, how do they start?
Well, like an easy thing, um, well, there's one thing I teach in my book. It's called scripting, and that's basically journaling about your life in real time, in the present tense, as if you're already living the life that you want. Meaning, if you want that promotion, you're scripting and you're giving details about how much you currently love the promotion, kind of feeding that to your subconscious mind. Now, I'm going to give you a little caveat about that also, because some people they don't like to handwrite because their hand will cramp up. Which I say, okay, that's fine, type it. They might not like typing because there's typos and they type all day. I'm like, that's fine also. You can do spoken scripting. You could literally like walk around, and keep yourself and you could record it or you could just say it out loud. You could actually describe it in the spoken word. So whether you write it or type it or speak it, scripting or journaling in this way is a wonderful way because it's too easy. All you're doing is going into details about the life that you want and flooding your subconscious mind and flooding your energy with that positivity and the invitation energetically of the changes that you want to experience.
I have heard that when you speak it out loud, it has more power because of the energy and the vibration and the frequency of your voice than when
Mhm.
you just think it. I don't know how that compares to writing it because journaling is, we all know, I've learned about journaling, but speaking it is very powerful. Have you found that speaking it out loud? I mean, do you mix it up? Do you do both writing and speaking, or how do you?
So it's interesting because what you just described on, I've heard that. I've also heard that writing is powerful in that like with the hand and the eye and the hand brain connection
Mm,
also like reinforces patterns. The
mhm,
really cool thing about this is I would say the reason that the spoken is because you're saying it, you're expressing it that way, and you're hearing it. So
mhm.
you're firing different senses. I would say it technically doesn't matter which is the more powerful, whether it's writing or typing or speaking, because the most powerful one for you or for anyone is the one that you enjoy doing to the point that you will do it consistently. Because if one thing is twice as powerful as the other, for example, but you don't like the thing that's twice as powerful, you're going to make just as much headway on the thing that's half as powerful because you're actually doing it consistently. All these things, each option in and of itself is powerful. So, I don't know the answer of which one is stronger, but I do know that whichever one I do, that's going to create an impact for me. And I think anyone listening at this point can probably tell I'm a bit of a chatterbox. So obviously for me, speaking comes very easily. Whereas like with writing, not only will my hand cramp up, but I can't write fast enough to keep up with my thoughts. Where speaking, usually I hang in there.
Nice. And I think one of the things that I've learned is that the most powerful part of this is to actually have the emotions. The emotions are what supercharge whatever it
Hmm.
is that you want to create in your life. And can you speak to that? Because how do you make yourself feel like you have something that you don't have? I mean, I feel like people get stuck there.
So I'm a little controversial in that way, in that I agree that the emotions can be very powerful and very useful. I'm always cautious in terms of telling people don't try to push yourself or force yourself to feel them. Not that you were saying that, but again, sometimes people will hear something and they'll misinterpret. I caution people against trying to feel the emotion more strongly because when you're gritting your teeth trying to feel the emotion and trying to force it, you're actually inadvertently worrying about it, which is inadvertently feeling a negative emotion there. So the truth is, yes, the emotions can really add a lot of momentum and power to this, but as long as you just feel okay, as long as you don't feel negative, as long as you just feel okay, you're already on the right path. And when you can give yourself permission to say, I can feel okay, or I can feel good, or I could feel wonderful, or I could feel ecstatic, or I could feel over the moon. It doesn't matter where I feel today as I'm doing this. It doesn't matter where it goes on the scale. As long as I'm not dipping into a negative part, I know that progress is being made. And the reason I bring this up is the cool thing is when you give yourself permission to feel just okay or amazing, it becomes way more of a natural, organic thing for you to feel better and better. And therefore, it's a lot more seamless when you're feeling those emotions in every single day in a more consistent way for yourself, as opposed to what I've seen for people and what I've kind of trapped myself in the past, where I would grit my teeth and try to feel this great emotion because I'm trying to rush or force a result. So emotions, yes, very powerful, but an even more powerful thing is not to force them because then you give them room to breathe and kind of do their own thing, and you create a lot more space for things to go in the right direction for yourself.
Nice, nice. And so when you first started, were you, and I've heard this before too, you have to get really clear on what it is that you want to bring into your life. I mean,
Hmm.
I know manifesting is that word, but I always say it sounds very new agey and things like that. And I say what you want to bring into your life, that is what you're doing. So get very clear on what that is, because otherwise, how do you bring it into your life?
Yeah, and this is where again I'll get a little controversial. Yes, get clear, but only get as specific as you can get while still feeling good. So for example, um, you want to make a lot of money and you know that you're clear you want to make a lot of money and it feels good to you. Awesome. You want to make $1 million. You check in. That feels good. I want to make $1 million. Like, no, I want to make $1 million in the next 15 days. But then you realize, oh, there's a stress around that. How am I going to do that? Now I'm worried about it. We just hit a level of specificity that feels negative. So we want to scale it back. So yes, you want to be clear on what you want, but only to the point that it actually feels good to you, that you're not worrying yourself, you're not psyching yourself out. And the beauty of this is any level of specificity is going in that direction. And as you move forward, the really cool thing is you're going to get clearer and clearer every single day. I can't begin you again, like it's happened for me, and I can't begin to tell like how many other times people done it where they'll write a list of like 20 things that they want in their life, and a month later they modify the list. They modify the list because some of the things on that list that they got, and some of the things they realized they didn't really want. They only thought they wanted it because, well, this is how I fit in, or this is what I'm supposed to want. But it's once they start actually getting things and it occurs to them realistically that they could actually have the things that they really actually want, they shift their list because now there's a space of there's a sense of space there and a sense of permission that they can give themselves. So yes, be clear, but don't give yourself pressure to be as clear as possible right away because this is going to be an evolving thing, and you never know if your thing is going to manifest overnight or in a month or in a year. So you want to enjoy your life to whatever measure you can in the meantime, because you're here anyway. You're waiting anyway. You're either waiting a day or you're waiting a year or you're waiting whatever. Enjoy your life to whatever measure you can in the meantime, because that also strategically opens up the floodgates and leaves a lot more space and room for the thing that you want to come faster and for it to come easier in a more enjoyable way for you.
I love that you said that, because my next question to you is going to be, sometimes we think we want something desperately. I had a friend that was running for political office. And, if you think about manifesting, you can manifest. But I said, maybe that wasn't for his highest and greatest good. What if there's something better than winning that election? But right now, that's where his focus is. So I love that you said, and I guess it's not a question, it's just a statement of, don't be so rigid in what it is that you're asking for. So be specific, but also be flexible. Is that
Yes.
kind of what you're saying?
And also, don't automatically throw your hands up in the air and quit if things don't go your way right away. And um, I was kind of like I was writing a new book, so this will like if I ever published a new book and finish it, this will be a point that'll be made in it. But the way I like to explain this is imagine, and everyone listening to this has their own baseline for what financial success means. So these numbers may be a little nebulous, or they may hit or they may not. But imagine someone like, they're on the outs with, things are tough. They're trying to get work and they're going to an interview for a job that's going to pay $90,000 a year. And they have this wonderful interview and everything's clicking, everything's working. Like it's theirs. But then they leave, and unbeknownst to them, they would find out later, the person who is next in line to interview badmouthed them behind their back, and they didn't get the job because that person won the job instead. So this random stranger in competition for the job, imagine like they cost you listening a $90,000 job a year. Now that's probably a pretty upsetting thing, like to be cheated out of, especially if you need that work. But how upset would you be if you knew 30 days from now you would actually get a better job making $200,000 a year, an easier commute, better colleagues, better office culture, a better office, a better, like everything better? Like, would you even resent the person that badmouthed you and kept you away from the lesser deal? Or would you have a certain sense of forgiveness and ease about it? We get disappointments every day and we don't know if they're for our highest good or not. So it's like it's your reminder where sometimes the thing that you think that you want, you are limiting yourself. You're thinking too small and you don't realize that the work that you've been doing energetically and the work you've been doing in the physical 3D space has been setting you up for a much bigger win if only you will let things play out and let that actually happen for you rather than impatiently settling for a better deal that kind of looks good on the surface.
Oh, that was such a beautiful example of that. Something was greater, but you are immediately disappointed in the moment. But if you think, okay, everything is happening for my highest and greatest good, then there is something better. So that was a beautiful example. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I want you to talk a little bit about your academy that you're launching. I think it's amazing. So talk about what people could expect and where they can find it and things like that.
Yeah, well, thanks for asking. So everything I do is meant to serve a purpose. And like again, no I don't mean to be disparaging to anyone that comes out with like a ton of products. Like for me, anything I come out with, there's always like a purpose. And if it actually doesn't serve in a unique way, I don't do it. So for example, last law of attraction book you'll ever need to read. It should ideally stand on its own as this law of attraction book where it gives you the methods, it gives you the reason that you've been getting in your way, it gives you the way around that. Awesome. But maybe you want someone's help in staying consistent with the methods, right? So I came out with a 90-day course called Gravity of the Cosmos. That way, every single day you've got a video walking you through a method or a law of attraction method so that you get 3 consecutive months of this opportunity to do this. The Law of Attraction VIP Academy is the next step up. What if, and this is based on people requesting it, they wanted a community where they can get together with other readers. They could share wins. They could share strategies. They can kind of bounce ideas off of each other. They could be inspired by one another. They can support one another. And they could have access to Gravity of the Cosmos and all of my other content. What if there was like this one-stop spot where everything could be there? And rather than 90 days of momentum, they had support and they had a hub that they can go to 24/7, 365, 366 on leap years. That's kind of like the concept of it. Like that's what the Law of Attraction VIP Academy is. And as we're talking here, I'm not sure when this will publish, but it's already been going for a few days. It's about to touch the top 150 out of the top 1,000 in its category. So the momentum of the people in the group, it's amazing. Like even today, like in preparation for Halloween happening, this one member posted this song they created with AI that was kind of like goofy and spooky and classic and had these lyrics of like involving like the season of Halloween with gratitude. And it's so cool and colorful. And I had started like this thread, like everyone, like feel free to say everything that you're grateful for about this time of year. And he just came in with this AI song that I wasn't even expecting. So the thing that I love about the VIP Academy is I didn't put any requirement or attachment on how it's supposed to play out. And because of that, already it's very pleasantly surprising me. I mean, anyone, they're welcome there's I want to make sure like, obviously it's like there's a monthly fee on this, but I want to make sure people can try without having to pay. So like I actually installed a 7-day trial where people just they can go to andrewkap.com and there's a quick little link there. Or they can go to lawofattractionvip.com and they can just try it out for 7 days for themselves and say, okay, is this community for me? Am I liking the energy? Am I liking Andrew's courses? So I basically wanted to have something that was very accessible, very user friendly, and the perfect thing for the right people, but also the perfect thing for the wrong person to say, "Oh, that's not for me. I'll cancel in a week, or I'll cancel in a month, or I'll cancel in a year, or whatever works for them."
I love that. And I love the community part because I feel like we are here for each other, and having support and community helps in all kinds of ways. It helps keep us motivated. It helps when we feel stuck. But you can do this without the community, right? Also, like,
Absolutely. Like just like Gravity of the Cosmos and technically just my book, it's an option. A really cool thing about this is so your dog ate Just Feel Good, right? And one of the most important parts of that book was where I revealed the one manifesting method that I do every single day for myself, just because it's convenient. And what the method is I pull out my phone, I record a message of all the things I'm grateful for, and I send it to my friend across the country who does the same thing for me. Now, when people hear about this, they say, "Oh, I wish that I had someone in my life." Now, people have people in their life that care about them, and maybe they have people in their life that care about the law of attraction, but it's hard for them to find someone that fits both. Law of Attraction VIP Academy, I do this thread every week where everyone has their own accountability buddy. But to your point, you don't need the academy because if you could find a friend outside the academy to do it with, awesome, you've got that option. If you want to do it for yourself, awesome, you've got that option. If you want to do a different method, awesome, you've got that option. So I build things where people like if they want it, awesome, it's accessible. But that by that same token, like even my YouTube channel, by design, I have stuff out there that someone will never have to pull their wallet out for me. They could literally just like watch my YouTube videos for free. So for me, it's more about like everything here is accessible, but the most important thing I would tell to people is whatever direction you go in, whether it's with my work or anybody else's work, make sure that you're having fun. Make sure you're enjoying it. Make sure it fits in with your schedule. Make sure it's user friendly and accessible because the ability to make it consistent for yourself, that will create the momentum, that will create the result, that's what makes it doable for everyone to accomplish it on their own as long as they actually genuinely enjoy it. And it isn't something that it feels like a chore. And just to make this a little bit of a longer answer, it's like if you take an American football fanatic and you give them tickets to a Super Bowl. Well, let's say you give tickets to the Super Bowl for someone who doesn't care about it. They're like, "Oh wait, I got to get on this long plane ride and then I got to get over to the stadium and I got to bake out in the hot sun all day for the game to finally start and all these fans are going to be yelling around me, they're going to be spilling beer on me like, ugh, that's someone that feels like they have to go to the Super Bowl because they were given the tickets, but someone that gets to go to the Super Bowl, who's actually excited about it, they're going to love the plane ride. They're going to love being in the stadium all day. They're going to love the tailgate party. They're going to love being with the fans and all the beer and this and that. The whole point of this is that this to you is a party that you actually like. It isn't something you have to do, it's something you get to do. And when you get to a place where this is something that you get to do for just 5 minutes a day, every single day, that's where you've hit the sweet spot and things can start happening for you.
oh, I love that you said that. And I want to share a personal anecdote really quick because when I was picking up my youngest daughter from second grade, I remember I'm like, Carrie, we have to go see grandma and grandpa. And her teacher, Mrs. Leininger, she said, you get to go see grandma. And that was the first time I had heard the have to and get to. And I was like, whoa. And I just gave myself chills because that was like an aha moment for me. Like, yeah, like instead of saying you have to do things, you get to, and it brings a whole different energy to everything that you do when you say I get to.
Yes. And what a gift for your daughter, right? To
Mhm.
have that benefit where there are other kids that they never got to meet their grandparents, you know?
Yeah.
It's like and this isn't like a reframe of like lying to yourself. It's a reframe of presenting the actual truth.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
often the negative connotation of something where it feels inconvenient or it feels like an obligation or a chore, that's actually the lie. And the truth is actually often the benefit, the gift that you get to do this thing. Oh, I got to go to this party. You get to go to this cool party. And maybe who knows what kind of friends you're going to make, or who knows who you'll meet, or who knows the direction your life is going to take off this one thing. I can look at things back in my life that I pinpoint to one person or one interest or one thing or one choice or decision I made that spread out like this web into all these other amazing things.
Yes.
I was actually like, I know about the law of attraction because when I was in high school, I enjoyed one song from a band. And because I liked the one song, I bought their whole album. Because I bought the album and I liked the album, I became a fan of the band. And then the internet becomes a thing. And then there's a website devoted to the band. And there's someone running the website who I become friends with. And then a couple of years later, I'm complaining to him about my life and how my business isn't going the way it should be. And he says, Andrew, stop, scroll up and look at what you just wrote. Look at how you're programming yourself. Here's a book that you should read. It should be What to Say When You Talk to Yourself by Chad Helmstetter, and As a Man Thinketh by James Allen, and Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, which introduced me to the idea of the power of thought, which got me all down, all because I liked one song in high school. I wrote this book. One choice, one coincidence could be the thing that leads to, and you never know when or how that coincidence will happen. So don't be like, I have to do, be like, I get to do. Who knows where this is going to take me in my life?
And you followed the thing that you loved. It was by following something you loved. And
Yes.
I think that makes all the difference. Like
The thing
being
that gave me joy, the thing I had genuine enthusiasm about, the thing I can sink my teeth into.
right. And look, it led to a whole career for you.
Yeah.
What song was that? I need to know.
That was Lightning Crashes by Live.
I don't know that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have
And
to look it up.
that's right, because they were only a thing like in the 90s, you know? It's like, yeah, it's when you hear it, you'll probably know it when you hear it. And it's also one of those songs. I mean, for me, I was telling someone, I got to hear a song like 5 or 6 times for it to grow on me, which was the case with this song also. So someone either hears the song like that's amazing, or they've like literally got to listen to it a couple times. But yeah, Lightning Crashes was the song that kicked all of this off.
Oh, nice. I love that. I love that. So again, that means that like whoever's listening, if there's something that you love, it doesn't matter what it is. If it's an animal, if it's a song, if it's a book, keep following the things that you love because that is going to put you in on your right path.
Yes, pursue it. Pursue it
Yeah.
yourself. And you didn't
Yes.
bring this up, Dawn, but someone was asking me. So another cool thing about the Law of Attraction VIP Academy is live calls where people could get on with me and actually bounce things back and forth. And someone on a recent live call in the community was asking about their life purpose. And
Mm-hmm.
I told you this isn't even mine. This was like a thing that I saw online. So I don't even know who to attribute the quote to, but it says, if you don't know what to pursue in life right now, pursue yourself. Pursue becoming the healthiest, happiest, most healed, most present, most confident version of yourself. I added in become the most skilled version of yourself. And then it says, then the right path will reveal itself. When you could be the most of all these things, the healthiest version, the most confident version, the most self actualized version, your path and your purpose will unfold and reveal itself to you because you're going down that road anyway.
I love it. I love it. And again, that love, the things that you love, the things that you're attracted to, those are all parts, those are little hints along breadcrumbs on our purpose. And you may not know how that's going to evolve, but again, follow the things that pull, that call to your soul. Those will
Yes.
always lead you in the right direction.
There's a
So,
momentum of positivity there for you.
yeah,
It's working for you already. There's already a momentum behind that for you that you don't even have to generate or drum up on your own.
that. So, oh my gosh, Andrew, well, you've been an inspiration in my life. And I'm so grateful to have you back on my show. I want you to leave people with one final, and you have so much wisdom, so you can pick your favorite one that you want to leave piece of wisdom. And then also tell people where they can find you, and we will keep all of that in the show notes so people can find you.
Absolutely. Well, first, thank you so much for having me. And thanks to everyone for listening. I hope they enjoyed this. The one piece of wisdom, I imagine what I'm saying right now, it's kind of resonating with people and they're on board, but let's just pretend you're not, just for a worst case scenario.
Mm.
Let's pretend Andrew is lying or delusional or just wrong. Let's think about it this way. The worst that could happen, let's say like feeling good while thinking about what you have or what you want or both. Let's pretend that that doesn't lead to things, that doesn't energetically create what you want, that doesn't reach out to the universe and change all these things and invite a whole new world for yourself. Let's pretend none of that's true. If you take 5 minutes out away from your worries, away from your financial concerns, economic concerns, the state of the world, the state of your life, the state of relationships, if you just take 5 minutes away from that and feel good, that in and of itself is a gift. So even without any result on the end, just by doing what I suggest, just by taking a few minutes to feel grateful for things, you've already got a win. If there's any level of doubt or hesitation or skepticism in what I'm saying, good. But you can't argue that this will be a win. And I know when you do this for 30 days or 6 weeks or who knows, whatever, and you don't worry about the when or the how and you just relax into it, you will start noticing things in your life. And once you experientially get this, nobody can ever take that away from you. But worst case scenario, you get a break every single day from your worries and you genuinely feel good. Who would not want that?
Oh, it's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Andrew. I know what you say is true. I live with dogs, so I get to have like, feel good all the time because, who can't feel good around dogs when they're not eating your books and stuff. But and then where can people I know your books are on
Oh,
Amazon. Are
yes.
you have a
So
website?
the main website, andrewkap.com, that's KAP. That links to everything. That'll give easy links to my books on Amazon. That'll give a link to the Law of Attraction VIP Academy. That'll give a link to my YouTube channel if you don't want to pull your wallet out. So if you just go to andrewkap.com, that'll take you anywhere and everywhere you want to go related to all the stuff that I have to offer, free or otherwise.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. And I hope everybody checks him out because Andrew is a source of wisdom and just a good human. So thank you for being on our show. Thank you for watching the Secrets of Being podcast. And we'll see you next time. Thank you for tuning in to the Secrets of Being podcast. We appreciate your time and support. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with more inspiring content. For further inspiration, visit thesecretsofbeing.com and join our community. Until next time, stay inspired and keep unlocking the secrets of being.